All right, so welcome back to the Northern Nerd Network. My name is Dan Schessel, and today we have, as always, Chelsea Thompson. Say
Hi,
hello. And we also have our special guest from the Classic Video Game Championships. Sorry, I forgot your name already.
Andrew.
Andrew, that's right. Hello.
Hey everyone, hello.
All right, so yes, we are going to be talking about video games and especially the Classic Video Game Championships later on in the show. But we like to start every show off by asking everybody how their week was. So Andrew, I'm going to start with you today. Andrew, how was your week?
It's been pretty good. I just got over about a sickness. Had a bit of a, inner ear thing going on. Got real dizzy over the weekend, but now I'm good. I was off work yesterday, but back at work today. And I'm just getting ready for the championships on the weekend.
A lot of setting up and getting ready. Yeah,
I gotta test all the consoles, make sure the games work, and you can't just rely on things working with this old technology. It's just hit and miss every time.
Sitting there blowing on all the NES cartridges just for good luck.
Yeah. Well, we're very glad you're feeling better, and thank you so much for coming out to join us this evening.
No, thanks for having me. It'll be a blast.
All right. And Chelsea, how was your week?
Yeah, my week was pretty good. It was my birthday last week, so that was fun. I got all kinds of fun birthday messages from yourself and from Trina, and Neo sent me a message, and you guys posted on the Northern Nerd page, which was awesome. I'm so lucky, so many birthday wishes, and my boyfriend made me a tower of cupcakes, so...
It doesn't get any better than that.
No, it really doesn't.
Can't go wrong.
I had quite a tiring day of work on my birthday. I worked all day, and some of the kids had a bit of a rough day. So I came home, and we had dinner, and I got to dig into my tower of cupcakes, and then I promptly fell asleep on the couch. It was glorious.
That is the best birthday ever.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Other than the crazy kids.
Yeah, and then on Sunday I went to fight class. That was super fun. I haven't been in a really long time. So yeah, we went and did all kinds of fun stuff, working on filming angles for, fighting multiple opponents in a confined space. So like trying to bust your way out of a hallway full of bad guys and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That is pretty good.
Yeah.
Neo just he's now in his new building for jiu-jitsu.
For jiu-jitsu, yeah, that's what you were saying.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the largest jiu-jitsu place in, I think, Canada. Like it's huge. Like the mats down below in the main area are, I think there's 6 squares in there, which they used to have 2, and now they have 6. And
well,
then
they're sharing space with like a competitive gym club, right? Is that what the building is?
No,
or used to be?
It used to
No?
be a gym, like a gymnastics place.
Yeah, competitive gymnastics club.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it was. Yeah. So now it's theirs, and they have Nehemiah's class is actually up top. There's another room up there. So not only is the main floor larger, but he's upstairs now, which is
In a whole second space.
Oh,
I bet he's so stoked about that.
Oh, he was just off the wall tonight. And then on top of it, he what was it? Oh shoot. So yeah, sorry. Anyways, they're setting up an actual gym down below as well. So like underneath where Nehemiah's class is, there's a place where you can go work out. So while they're doing their thing, you could be doing your thing, and it's
That's a great
crazy.
idea.
Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, nerds, if you need to go work out, that's it.
Well, aside from getting to see Neo's brand new sweet ninjutsu space, how was the rest of your week? You were quite busy over the weekend. You got up to a lot, didn't you?
I did. So here's what happened. Friday night, I went and played some X-wing because I really wanted to go play some X-wing because I have all my stuff up here on the corner here, and I don't get much use out of it. So
Any chance you can get, you
right
need your
now, it's
fix.
any chance I can get it. I'm getting out there. And plus, it's tournament season's coming up, so I gotta get in shape for that. And then on top of it, I got out to Mad Jam this weekend as well on Friday night, and that's where a bunch of video game developers come in and essentially make a video game in 48 hours. 48 hours, and that was a ton of fun. And I got to go in and interview a lot of people out there. And if you haven't had the chance yet to go and check out that video, go and check it out. There's the guy who runs it, the passion that he has just for video game creation and wanting to grow the community of game developers in the city is tremendous. Like, he's got such a passion for it, and he's really putting himself out there as like he's just doing it because he loves it. He's doing it for almost for free.
Yeah,
So,
and that video's up on YouTube now, right?
yeah, it's up on YouTube.
For
Go check that out.
those who want to search it out.
And on top of that, we now have him as
Upcoming guest.
no, he's
Yeah?
a partner
No?
as well, or he's part of our network.
Excellent.
So, yes, he is definitely wanting to come and help us out with a bunch of things. So we put him up as a member of our network. So
Woohoo!
that is exciting as well. And on top of that, I got to go to Avalon Nights on Saturday for a little RPG day, where I got to play a little bit of Star Wars Edge of the Empire, I think it was, and that's sort of the scum and villainy of the Empire, or the Star Wars universe. So
All
that
the
was a lot of fun.
unsavory characters.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't play RPGs typically. Well, never. This is the first time I've ever played one, and so it was a lot of fun. It was interesting. I've never tried it, but now Kelly from the Nerd List has just contacted me, and he wants me to go play some D&D with him. So I might go and do that as well. I gotta go and talk to Trina about it.
So busy with
There's so
all
much
the
to
nerdy
do.
things.
There's
Yep.
so much. So and I think we're gonna be streaming that as well. So you can check that out later.
It's almost as if somebody in Edmonton should start a show talking about all the fun things there are to do.
There's so many. I
Imagine
know.
that, hey?
It's so weird. Like there's nerdy things that are happening all over the city. Like, I don't know, video game championships on the weekend. So,
Yeah,
What?
I know, eh? What's that?
no, it's weird. But anyways, before we get into all the video game championships,
Awesomeness that is
Yeah.
the classic video game championship.
we do have some news items that we'd like to get through. So
Some nerdy news for you. So yeah, first up this evening, they're all, if you're watching or watching right now live or going to be listening to the podcast later and want to follow along, all of the news items are up on our Facebook page. So it'll be, a little interactive for you. You can click on the links and see what we're chatting about. The first news item up this evening is kind of a pretty cool prototype, I believe. The article or the Facebook page says it's still sort of in the prototype phase. They haven't gone into mass production or sale yet. But it's a self-filling water bottle that condenses water out of air. So you can leave it, and as you're hiking or biking or out being active, it traps humid air and condenses it and cools it in the bottle. And I believe the article says, how long does it take? The bottle's about half a liter, 500 milliliters, and it'll fill that in an hour, I think is what the video says,
that is
which
pretty
is
cool.
pretty impressive.
It's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Like, they do have a time lapse of it actually working.
Actually filling. Yeah,
yeah.
So if you click on the video's really cool. They've got a time lapse of how it actually works. They break down the interior parts. So yeah, you can check out their Facebook page. I'm not sure if they're doing this Kickstarter style or if they've already got funding. But yeah, watch the video, check out their Facebook page. It's a really cool invention. What's that? Left for a hike? Forgot to fill your water bottle? Oh, no problem. You finished your hike and it's already full.
So how does it work? Do you know?
Yeah, they have what they call hydrophobic panels that
I'm sure
air
they just
goes
made that
into the
that name
top,
up.
hits these panels, and it condenses them into droplets, and then a fan cools them down so they condense even more, and then the droplets slide into the bottle and fill it up with water.
So it's like taking dew off a leaf.
Pretty much, yeah. So they say so long as you're in an area with relatively good air quality, the water should be clean and completely potable. For more urban areas or large cities with smog concerns, they're thinking of potentially coming up with a second model that has a carbon filter in it so that the water stays clean.
That would be a little bit smarter, because I mean, yeah, there would be some issues with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is pretty neat to look at, anyways, or to see. It seems very doable.
Yes.
So that's also very cool.
And
I think
super cool.
Is it on Kickstarter as well?
You know, I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm not sure. I know they're still in the prototype funding phase. But if you check out the link is to their Facebook page, which has the video and some information, I'm sure you'd be able to find out how that's happening and if they are doing it like a GoFundMe or a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo or something like that. I bet if you put your money down, you could probably get your very own self-filling water bottle.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Well, moving on from something really cool in real life to something really cool in make-believe, which just strums the chords of my childhood nostalgia a little bit, which, Dan, you know I love anything childhood nostalgia related. DC Comics has said that they're going to be unveiling updated, sort of rebooted versions, if you will, of several of the classic Hanna-Barbera comics and cartoon characters and shows, including Scooby-Doo, the Flintstones, and Johnny Quest. So the take that they've got, the first one on the link on the page that they've got is Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
And it's the Scooby Apocalypse. And so it looks like Scooby and the gang solving mysteries in the monster and zombie-filled post-apocalypse. With sort of a redo of all the stylings of the characters. I gotta say, I'm loving the lumberjack beard that they've got Shaggy rocking in this artwork. Well, it looks pretty great.
He's got a full sleeve tattoo going on there, and even they look pretty badass. Every one of those characters.
So yeah, that's pretty exciting. Anybody who was a fan of the old classics, it'll be interesting to see what the new revisioning turns out to be. I really hope that's the thing. It's always a toss-up until the product comes out and you actually see what it's like. If it's going to be like, oh my goodness, this is the best thing ever, or oh, they just crushed my childhood.
There's nothing wrong with reimagining things from our childhoods, though. I love it.
That's true, yeah.
But they also got the Flintstones there.
Yeah, actually the artwork for the Flintstones looks pretty cool.
I thought that was Fred Flintstone there smoking there. No, that's just his coffee.
Just his coffee.
I don't know why he's got so much steam coming off that cup. But it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, great artwork.
The whole gang.
I'm pretty excited for that Scooby-Doo one. It looks pretty good.
Yes.
Are they in the future? I don't get it. Looks pretty awesome though.
No.
I'm definitely gonna be buying it now. It's got me so pumped to see it. Anyways, what else can people get pumped up about?
Also in the realm of the make-believe, something else that people can get pumped about. And actually something you were just sort of briefly mentioning. For those of our viewers who do love D&D, a completely online version, complete with Dungeon Master and Dice Roll Protocol has been released on Steam Games for purchase. So you can log in with multiple players and play D&D online. And they're working their way through all of the original quest books to code them and get them set up for gameplay. So you'll be able to download additional content and work your way through all of the classic D&D books and quests in this particular version that they've got available.
I've taken a look at this. I have no idea how it works.
That makes two of us.
This product looks so beyond crazy. Like, I can understand why we actually just play RPGs on
on paper.
Well, even on for video games, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I can see why they have RPGs, because this looks ridiculous. Like, to figure out. I have no idea what they're doing here. It's a lot of like paper maps and all the other stuff that typical D&D style would be, but man, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, so you've got all of the map graphics and everything like that. All the rolling. I believe there's an option that one of your company logged in can operate as the DM like you would with a regular like paper tabletop game, or I believe they have the function as with the dice roll mechanic to have an automated DM if you and your friends playing all just want to play, which is really cool.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I would. I'd be curious to see how it actually works. I might actually see.
Well, I like the graphic that they've got up on the link. I think I might have to update the link on the Facebook page. I think I only got part of it, but I'll do that after the show really quick. But the link that they've got up to the graphic, I like how it's, so they've got the map, but it's only revealed sort of as you work your way through the quest. And depending on what decisions you make and what rolls you make, you can turn left instead of right, or you can go down into this cavern instead of that cavern, or, and then, your map will evolve that way.
Not knowing anything about D&D myself, but it does look pretty cool. I always wanted to learn, but never had the opportunity.
Yeah, it's always one of those things where it was always the friends you hung out with that dictated if you were able to play it or not.
Oh, absolutely.
When I was a kid, I was always taught that it was satanic and that I was not allowed to get anywhere near it. So,
wow.
Yeah,
I love that. That's the most awesome miscategorization of Dungeons and Dragons ever.
I would have to agree.
Oh yeah, no, it was like banned for sure in our house, right? Like,
wow.
If my mom ever caught us, she would like disown us, like put us up for adoption or something. I don't know. Yeah, that's definitely changed over the years. But yeah. Anyways, do you know what else has changed in maybe perhaps our city here in the last little while?
Yeah, moving on from fantasy back to reality, we've got a bit of local news. So in the last couple of days, Edmonton became the first city in Canada to approve Uber. So now it's going to be running in Edmonton, much to the chagrin of a large portion of the taxi drivers of the city.
The ones that took off their skirts.
But some would say that's just competition happening.
I am not sure if I'm for this or against it. I don't take taxis, so I don't usually know. I don't know. Ubers for so far have not been all the greatest representatives. Like, I don't know.
I think it all depends on the people managing the particular dispatch for a particular city. And the news makes it sound like the individual who's lobbied who will be running the particular sort of Edmonton Uber, and lobbied to bring it to the city. It's kind of on top of things. I got to say, just from a practical standpoint, rememberings of days gone by, living down by the university, going out to White Ave on a Friday or Saturday night in the middle of January or February at last call, and having the flood of people all vying for taxis, having to stand on the sidewalk in minus 30 trying to get your butt home in a cab when there were clearly far more people who needed rides than there were cabs. I think just based on the climate that we live in, having the option of more transportation will probably be a good thing.
I absolutely agree with that.
I can't imagine that being a bad thing, right? Like right now at this time, the amount of taxis is way underwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's not enough. That's for sure. And putting a little bit more competition in the city is not necessarily a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just see how they actually fare with our city, I guess, if they stick to the rules or not.
And I think, urban sprawl is a whole other thing we can talk about. The fact is, Edmonton's gone there. We're a sprawly city, and the new developments only keep rolling in. Because Uber drivers, pick up sort of dependent upon their area, I think that'll really help out in a lot of the sort of newer developed areas where it may take a normal taxi company from wherever their hub is way longer to get all the way out there to pick somebody up and get them back in, versus if you have a local driver that's where they're situated and that's where they're going to pick up from. Just in terms of the time of service, it'd probably be easier to get rides out in the newly developed areas, which is kind of nice.
You know what? With taxi cabs, you can call them and put in a request for a cab, but you never know when they're actually going to show up.
Mm-hmm.
They could say 20 minutes and then show up 45 minutes later. At least with Uber, you can request an Uber driver, and you can see that they're 2 minutes away.
Yeah.
Show up to your place in 2 minutes because they have GPS. You can follow them on the map until they get to your house. So you know exactly when they're going to be at your house. So the cab companies, they all have their feathers in a ruffle, but it's a healthy competition. If they were confident in their product, they wouldn't be afraid of Uber. But the fact of the matter is that they're not. People complain about taxi cabs and have been forever. It's not anything new, but Uber is new and they're providing a very quality service. So let's, as a city, I'm glad we were able to put it in, give them a shot. Let's see how it works out.
Yeah, and it's kind of exciting that we're the first city to sort of pass that and make that decision. So we'll see if that sort of sets off any kind of domino reaction in any of the other bigger cities across the country. Because I know there are quite a few who have been debating for a while, but we're the first ones to sort of officially go, all right, let's do this.
It's kind of cool to be the first. Anyways, what else
of waiting
is
outside, freezing our butts off to find something out? It was recently Groundhog Day.
Wow, that was pretty good.
And news has come in that it was a split decision. That it was kind of hard to tell if there was a shadow or not.
Well, apparently Balzac Billy did not see his shadow.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know who Balzac Billy is. This is just some guy that's in a groundhog costume. It comes out. Yeah, I don't have a link to that, but yeah, literally it's just some dude in a costume, in a groundhog costume. Look up Balzac Billy. You'll find it.
Actual groundhog.
That's the actual no, I'm serious. That's our actual groundhog that we go off of. That's Balzac Billy. It's a guy in a suit. Because I think it's not very humane to have an actual groundhog anymore. I don't know.
Well, there are several.
There's several. There's lots.
Groundhog Willie in Ontario predicted spring. Sam in Nova Scotia predicted winter. Phil in Pennsylvania across the border predicted winter. Chuck in New York predicted spring. General Beauregard Lee in Georgia predicted spring. And Environment Canada, being the giant buzzkill that they are, predicted winter.
Maybe we should just name all the hedgehogs again. And that was the funnest part of this. What was the one from the General something?
General Beauregard Lee from Georgia, and I'd expect nothing less from a groundhog from Georgia to be named
Exactly.
General Beauregard Lee.
And what did he predict? Spring?
Yeah,
Let's go with him.
He's a spring.
Yes,
Yeah,
he predicted spring.
I like him the best.
General. I
Yeah,
love
so
when
it
you,
looks
when you
like
give
a pretty even split down the middle, so who knows? I guess we'll have to wait and see.
you give your groundhog a general title.
Yes.
That is a. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. That is like the best thing ever. Yeah. So, anyways, I believe we get an early spring. I think
That's the
we
hope,
still.
anyway.
I'm still waiting for winters to show up. To be honest with you.
Yeah, it hasn't been super, super cold, hey?
Don't be
No.
jinxing it.
I like literally. It's already far too late.
That's it.
Anyways,
That's all we got
it.
for the news.
Wow. That
Ending on
is-
the positive note of hopefully early spring.
Wow. We still need a winter, so.
General Beauregard Lee says so. I'm going with that.
Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
But now we're on to the exciting portion of the evening, where
What's that?
we're going to ask Andrew all kinds of questions about the awesomeness that is the Classic Video Game Championships, and he can tell us and our lovely viewers and listeners all about it and why it's awesome and why they should come check it out.
Okay, so first off, what is the Classic Video Game Championships?
Classic Video Game Championships, it's basically a get-together of all the gaming communities. We kind of want to bring everybody together to have a great time. We focus around retro games because that's what we love. So, for instance, we have a giant qualifying tournament. This will be our third. And then we have 4 qualifiers from each event, and those 4 will go head-to-head in a 16-person battle for the right to be called the champion of the classic video games. So, for instance, this one we're running a Super Nintendo Gamer Gauntlet, which is kind of like a video game decathlon. You get a certain amount of points for placing for being in a certain place during a game. It could be 1 versus 1, high score, fastest times, and if you placed first out of 10 people, then you get 10 points, and if you finish last, you get 1 point, and the last person may get an advantage in the next round. So it's kind of a gamer gauntlet to just bring the best out in everybody. Those couch co-op things that we used to have growing up, just battling it out, playing with our friends. That's what we want. That's what we want to capture.
So,
Awesome.
why did this start? Why did you guys decide to do this?
Yeah, how did it come about? Yeah.
Well, we were just sitting around one day. It actually was just spur of the moment. We didn't even think about doing something like this. We were wondering, okay, well, where can we go to find video game stuff or play games? Like there was nothing like this around. So we decided, instead of continuing to wait for somebody to do it, we decided, hey, let's give it a go. Let's see what we can do. So we kind of just put our pens to paper and just wrote down some ideas, and I mean we're still going. It's our third one this year, so it just throwing out ideas. Things have changed since the first one dramatically, and kind of just trying to find a formula that works. But we're going to keep going, keep going forward with it. I mean, the city, the area, Alberta needs something like this, so we're glad that we can put it on.
And so now, what's the timeline like throughout the year? You have the major championship every year. You've got the qualifiers leading up to it. What's the timeline of that? How far apart are the qualifiers? How far apart are the qualifiers from the championship? What does the year look like for you?
Well, it's actually been a very very time consuming thing. we had no idea what we were getting into. I'm not gonna lie. So our first one we ran in July, just the end of July there, and then we thought, okay, well we'll do a 3-month cycle. So we'll go every 3 months, and then we'll have our finale at the end of the year mark, kind of thing. So first one was in July, second one was in October, third one was will be this weekend, February 7th, and then our next one it's supposed to be around May-ish, but we're kind of figuring out exactly when we can actually get it done, because the next one will be, so the first 3 are qualifiers. The last one's going to actually be a 2-day event, which will have the qualifiers on one day and then the finals on the second day. So, and then after that, we're going to kind of reevaluate, see what's worked from the last year and what hasn't worked. I mean, we're not doing this full time. We all have full-time jobs, so it is a big strain to have one every 3 months. It seems like it never stops. So we're going to reevaluate. Maybe do it 3 times a year, maybe twice a year. Definitely more than once. So we're going to reevaluate it. I mean, who knows? We might stick with 4 because 4 has worked out quite well, just to get our name out there, get people to show up. So, and it's fun. I mean, we really do enjoy doing this. So it's 4 qualifiers in the finals, which will be early summerish, probably late spring.
Awesome. So that's super cool. People watching and listening and who see or hear the show tonight know that they've got this next one coming up in February and then one more for their chance to come out and see what it's all about and try and qualify. That's pretty cool.
Absolutely, yeah.
What sort of games are you guys playing?
Well, anything really. What do you want to play? Well, in the so the first qualifiers we had a Mario Kart Time Trial as the qualifying game. We had Super Mario Kart and Mario Kart 64, and then the top two, we had 4 different tracks picked out. So the top 2 from Super Nintendo and the top 2 from Nintendo 64, they moved on to the finals. We actually had one person win both of the Nintendo 64 ones, so we had to do a kind of a game off at our last one, where the 2 second place victors had to go head to head and to see who earned the spot in the finals. And then our last event, we kind of diversified a little bit. We had a Halo a Halo tournament, a Smash Melee tournament. I think we had a Street Fighter 2 tournament, as well as I can't remember what the other one was. But we have all this in different kinds of games, and this one we're kind of diverse. We're going saying how many games can we jam into a 2.5-hour period. Everybody gets a chance to make it from the bottom to the top, depending on scores. There can be big jumps, drastic changes in scoring, things like that. It gives a little bit more surprise element, so nobody's really out of it until the end. And that's the qualifiers. Then we also have a few other tournaments on the side. This one here, we have a Super Street Fighter 2 tournament and a Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 tournament, which will be played on the Xbox 360, but they're remakes of old games. And then we also have our mini tournaments, which we have 5 games picked up for those. We announced them actually today. I think it was today. Yeah, today. So most of them are on the Super Nintendo. We have Nintendo World Championships, which has been a staple since the beginning of our events. We have Tetris High Scores. We have High Scores and some other reproduction fan-made games, and a Sailor Moon game that was only released in Japan. We got the English translated version donated to us by JC Retail, who's one of our new sponsors, and then we also have a free play area, which has the gamut. You name the console, we probably have at least one of them for play.
Have you ever had anybody show up and want to or want to play with a Power Glove?
No.
Why would you play that?
Nobody ever has actually wanted to play with a Power Glove. I can assure you that much.
Okay. When I was a kid, I had a Power Glove, and the only game I had for is that stupid one where you punch the ball. I don't. Have you
Glove
seen that?
ball.
The glove ball.
Yeah,
Man, it's so terrible.
it
So
is
bad.
terrible. It's a terrible accessory.
It was. One of our longtime listeners of the show has made a comment, and he says, "You know, you're getting old when Halo qualifies as a retro gaming."
Well, it was pushing the limit there. We weren't too sure if we wanted to add it in, but we knew that it's not retro to me yet, but it's retro to some people. So I was like, you know what? Let's throw it in there. They grew up on Halo. Let's give it a try, and it worked out, fairly well. We're hoping to incorporate some more, classic stuff from the Xbox, GameCube, PlayStation eras, but we're not. It's not our focus yet. Maybe one day.
We try to keep it in the.
Gotta bust out the
64
original
down.
Sonic.
Well, we did have the original Sonic time trials at our first one, so I mean, it could always make a return.
I toss a vote out there for Duck Hunt. I'm just saying.
High school and Duck Hunt.
For
I'm
Duck
sure we
Hunt.
can figure something out that.
That would be a good one, actually. I could see
It is a good one. You know what? Maybe I'll just throw it out there.
What is your favorite game to play?
Mine. Oof.
Currently, what is your favorite game to play?
Let's go.
I can't stop playing Minecraft.
Yeah?
I know. My son brought it home one day and I was like, "What's this garbage game that you're playing?" And the next thing you know, I say, "Move over. I need to play this." I play it with my kids often, and then it's just one of those games that it's easy to play and stuff like that. But I've been playing. I just got Final Fantasy Explorers on my 3DS. I've been playing that quite a bit, and I just throw in my old games every once in a while. I've been trying to get to me and the guys. We've been trying to get through Secret of Mana when we meet up to play Secret of Mana, but then we end up working. So we've been trying to get through that for about 3 months now.
So now, sort of a continuation of that. Do you remember the first video game you ever played? And or the first system you ever owned?
Yes and no. I can't remember the first. I remember the Nintendo was the first system I ever owned. So I'm assuming Mario Duck Hunt was the first game I played because that was the packing game with it.
That was the one that came with it. Yep.
And I remember playing that console the most growing up, things like that. I remember other games that I've received for Christmas or other gifts, things like that. I remember actually the Commodore 64 was my second console, and nobody else in the household wanted to play that or even look at the thing except for me. So I actually took that. That one has some very cherished memories of all the games on the cassette tapes and stuff like that. It's actually where I learned to program my first game. I don't do any programming anymore, but I just picked up a book and read through it and programmed my first game on the Commodore 64 on a cassette tape.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think the first time I ever tried to program anything was on the T86, I think it was.
TI-83?
Yeah, TI-83, sorry.
The calculator games? Yeah, oh yeah.
Doing a little text-based game is what I did. It was a lot of fun, actually. Like it's been so long since I did any kind of programming. I think the only other time I'm doing it is right now with Artemis, and I'm trying to make my own mission for that game right now.
Now, how about you, Dan? What is your favorite video game currently? And
Currently?
do you recall the first video game you ever played and what your first system was?
Okay, let's go with the first system first. The first system was Nintendo. I owned a Nintendo, and the first game would have been Mario Duck Hunt. But I remember my dad had an Atari, and we used to play. It was this racing game. I think it was like GT something, and it was just like this F1 racer kind of thing, and it was pretty simple. You moved it back and forth. That and Space Invaders I've played a lot of. A couple other like old, really Atari games that my dad had, and then I moved into the Nintendo era. Um, but right now, currently, I am playing a lot of Rainbow Six Siege up until the new Tom Clancy game, Division, comes out, and then I'll be playing Division because it looks awesome. uh, but yeah, when I was growing up, though, one of my favorite games was Maniac Mansion.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, that was one I used to play every which way I could possibly can, like with every character I possibly can. And then every time I would play it, I'd have to put Dave in the jail. That was my first go-to thing. Is just put him in the jail because I don't. He was useless. He was like the useless character that you just like. I don't know why you're even here, other than that's your girlfriend that we're trying to save. But he was terrible. But yeah, Maniac Mansion was the game that for me. How about you guys?
Well, we never had gaming consoles at home. My mom didn't want us sitting in front of the TV playing video games, so I got my fix. I remember actually vividly when my cousins got the original Nintendo, because anytime we would get together for family gatherings, all the cousins would end up in the basement together. And I remember when they got it, and I was like, "This is amazing!" And of course, it came with Duck Hunt. But they were huge into like the original like NHL games, and so I was terrible at them. So I would try for a little bit, and then I would just like toss the controllers to my cousin, and then I would sit there and watch my cousins play like the first few NHL games. Oh, the I still remember the graphics. Yeah.
I remember playing a lot of Blades of Steel as well when I was a kid.
I think everybody did.
Just the whole like punching. Great. It was great. It was a great hockey game. It was one of the best.
So at home we got to compromise. I got my fix in with like PC games. So I played a lot of puzzle games. So there's an old PC game called Sid and Al's Incredible Tune Machine, which is basically just making Rube Goldberg creations to solve a puzzle. So it'll give you an objective. You have to get Sid and Al. Sid needs to eat cheese and Al needs to eat this fish. And they start at one point on the screen and the cheese and fish are at another point in the screen. And then you have all of these things in a list that you can like add into the picture to like make a Rube Goldberg machine to get them to the cheese and the fish. That kind of stuff. And then I was introduced to World of Warcraft. And and I only played the first 10 trial levels, and I did that in like less than 24 hours where I didn't leave the couch and didn't eat and I was like, okay, I have to I can't. If I make this
I can't do this. I can't do this.
If I make this a thing, I will stop being a person. I will just disappear, and all I'll do is play World of Warcraft.
I think a lot of us have that dark thing in our past.
There has been a few. Been a few.
So now I've actually spent a lot of time. I haven't created a character yet, but my boyfriend got Fallout 4, and I've been watching his character while he plays Fallout 4 because I just love the story mechanic of like that and like Skyrim and games like that have the like depending on your answer your story evolves differently. I really love that mechanic. So watching him play through his storyline and the like ghouly part of me loves watching him like one shot guys, which is great.
How about yourself? Like what was your favorite game growing up?
Oh gosh, I don't know. My first game I ever passed, like start to finish, was Final Fantasy on the NES.
Oh yeah.
I still remember the day I finished it. It was the greatest day of my life when I don't know how old I was, 8, something like that. It was the greatest day. I went around, told everybody that I passed it, and then And then my brother took the credit for passing it, like a real
Aw.
brother should. No, my favorite game growing up was Chrysalis on the NES. It's kind of a top-down Zelda type game, but I don't know why I've always loved it more than Zelda, even though it's kind of a Zelda-ish clone. It's just the whole story behind it, the different power-ups and the different mechanics of the power-ups. It's kind of like you upgrade your weapons. You don't actually upgrade yourself. You upgrade your weapons and your armor and things like that. You don't actually upgrade your health or anything like that. It's really awesome. And then when I moved on from the NES, I went into the SNES and I went on a huge RPG kick. I used to rent them with my friends, and we would have a sleepover for 2 nights, and we would try to just stay up as late as we can and play these games for just like 2 days straight, trying to pass. And we have some of the worst experiences. I remember we tried to beat Super Mario RPG, and we couldn't get past this one part. Haunted me until I was an adult, and I was like, screw this, I'm not losing sleep anymore. So I passed the game. But actually, my mom was very in tune to my love for these RPGs, and she bought me Earthbound, and that turned into one of my favorite games of all time as well. I still have my original copy, and it's just I still love it. It was just so quirky and different from all the other RPGs I was playing, and I just fell in love with it. I would see things like the references to like the Blues Brothers and stuff like that, and I would just be like, hey, I remember seeing that on TV when my mom was watching TV or something like that. I would remember seeing Dan Aykroyd and Jim Belushi, whomever, doing that, and I'm just like, hey, wait a minute, I remember that from my video game.
There was you're speaking of RPGs and stuff like that. There was one game on the old NES that was sort of like a Zelda ripoff, and it was called Spiritual Warfare. Now, like I said earlier, I grew up in this Christian home, and this was one of those. It was a Bible game where you threw fruits of the Spirit at at these people and at sinners. Sorry, you threw them at the sinners, and then they prayed and they got forgiveness. It was an amazing game. Let me tell you, if you want a good Zelda ripoff game, yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's still I still own it. One of I still go back to it every so often and it's got one of those crazy codes that you had to push in to save. So if you saved it, it was gives you this 48-digit code that you had to write down.
Like most of the games back then had.
Yeah. So it didn't have an actual save mode in it. It was one of those ones where it was not approved by Nintendo to make. They just made it.
I think it was a Color Dreams game, unlicensed one. I'm looking at the screenshots for it right now. It looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It was a lot of fun though. It was actually not a bad game, but it was. There was one part where an angel would come across the screen, and you would have to chase down the angel, and if you caught him, it would give you trivia, and then it would be this guy, and he had a bow tie. It was just like his head, and a bow tie, and if you got the answers right, all of them, I think it was, his bow tie would spin.
That's funny. So it's a wisdom tree game. So they came up with a whole lot of.
They came up with Noah's Arks. Yeah.
I actually have a couple of them, and I never really grew up in a religious household or anything like that. But I popped one in a few months ago just to see what kind of game it was, and it was called Exodus.
Oh yeah, that one too. I like that one.
Journey to something, but I popped it in, and after every level, there's a series of Bible-related questions.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, I did very well. I gave myself a pat on the back. And you get extra life and you get extra coins. So I was like, well, I need to know what the hell's going on here so I can get more coins or more life. I got to win the game.
It is something. If you haven't played any of the Wisdom Tree games, go do yourself a favor and go check them out because they're well worth going to see. Yeah, that was part of my childhood. That and Romance, Three Kingdoms. That was another big one.
Oh, those are good ones.
So now, Andrew, In your
Yes.
own personal collection that you have at home, what's the oldest console or game, or a console or game that you're most proud of that you still have in your own personal collection?
Well, I still have probably 95% of my old games that I grew up with.
Which is awesome.
I still have my Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64. Every original console I've ever owned, I still have. And pretty much all the games, unless I lost it somewhere, traded it off to a friend, or lent it out to a friend and never got it back, kind of thing. So, and actually every piece in my collection, I like to know the stories behind them as well. So a lot of the games I have may have like torn labels or scratches on it. A lot of collectors would be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna upgrade that," but you know what? This was my friend's when I was young, so I'm gonna keep that because I know it was from him. Or I
This
got
tear happened when I was fighting with my little brother over the game.
exactly, like my mom wrote my brother's name on the Final Fantasy box I have, and I could take that off, but what's the point? I mean, it's just part of my collection. I don't really care if somebody comes over and says, "Oh, there's writing on your box." I don't care. My mom wrote it down there. Like, that's my thing. A great story I have is that like most collectors and stuff, I go out to garage sales and stuff. I picked up the thrifting gene from my mom. I've been going out for garage sales for a long time, but I found one house and I asked them if they had any video games for sale, and the lady there was like, "Yeah, I think we do." And then she calls over to her husband, and he's sitting there eating a hot dog, and he's grumbling about something. She's like, "Well, are you gonna go show him?" And he says, "Let me finish my damn hot dog." So he takes me down to his basement, and he pulls out a bunch of. He just starts pulling stuff out of drawers, and I'm like, "Well, I have no idea what he's doing here. Like, he hasn't spoken to me since we came into the house, so I don't know what he's doing." So he comes out. He's got a TI 99 Texas Instrument old gaming system, and he used to be huge into this thing. So he has all of this programming notes. He used to program games for it, and so he had all of his programming notes. And you want to talk about hand-drawn maps for RPGs? He's got them all drawn out.
Wow.
On these pieces of paper. He's got all of his old catalogs, which had Bill Cosby on the front. And all of his old letters, all of his old correspondence to Texas Instruments and stuff like that. Everything. Like, he gave me a stack of paper probably like this big, along with just games, the console itself, and a couple tapes with his personal games on there. So they weren't released. They weren't done anything with. So really, I have the only copies of these games that he made.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
So cool.
So I talk to people about this kind of stuff when I buy things off of them and stuff like that. I like to know the history behind a lot of these games, or I bought this off of my friend, or my mom gave me this as a Christmas gift, so I got my original Earthbound in box. It's worth a lot of money now, but I would never sell it or anything because my mom gave me that game. Or games like that, or this TI-99, I'd have a hard time getting rid of it because I don't know where it will end up, and I know that he would want it to be appreciated. And just me telling this story about his games and stuff like that, and I played his games, and they're really fun. They're really fun for games that were made back in the early 80s or late 70s there. So I'm just really proud of a lot of things in my collection. A lot of things are, pick up, throw away things, but some pieces like that come across your way, you just can't get rid of them.
That's awesome. So what made it so that gaming is so special to you?
I don't know. I was just that demographic growing up. I had my consoles. I just loved games. I loved to immerse myself in them. I loved strategy type games. I've always loved that kind of thing. And a lot of the time, a lot of my friends at the time didn't want to play board games and stuff like that because they stopped playing board games with me because I won all the time. No, but seriously, I had a lot of I did a lot of sports growing up and stuff like that. And when you're hanging with those kind of people, they don't really want to play board games. They don't want to play strategy type games. So I was like, okay, well, I like doing that kind of stuff. I like using my brain a lot. So I started playing a lot of games. You know, I got really into strategy type games, like the romance games, Shining Force kind of games, games where you have to strategize, you have to build armies, you have to do that kind of stuff. So I really got into it, and then it just kind of spiraled from there, and never really got into them at an early age, never really got out of them.
It's something that just sticks with you all the way
Exactly.
through life. Yeah.
Exactly.
I know. I'm the same way.
And
now it's so cool that you're passing that love on to as many people as you can with the Classic Video Game Championship.
Well, and that's just the thing. I mean, I love doing this. I love video games. I love promoting video games within the city. I mean, we're working with a lot of the developers and stuff to try to bring them out and get gamers to play their games. You know, give them feedback. You know, my kids, other people's kids that I know. You know, there's always been the idea that video games aren't good for you, but you know, I learned a lot from them. I learned a lot of my things that help me in my real world jobs. You know, strategy, things like that. A lot of the things I take from video games. You know, using RPG elements and kind of like how you have to build something, do this and do that. And I think they can be very good teaching tools, not just you know, maybe Steve can teach us typing or something like that.
Well, that's amazing. It's one of those things where I've always grown up with video games, and it's been a passion of mine, and I'm so glad that you made it out today. Thank you.
Well,
so
thanks
much.
for having me. I really appreciate it.
Before we wind down too much,
Yes.
I'm going to ask Andrew to hit us with the details of this upcoming qualifier. When is it? Where is it? How can people register? Where can they find you? All the good stuff. Hit us with it.
All right. So Sunday, February 7th, doors open at 10 a.m. We're going to about 5 p.m., you know, depending on when people file out. It is Super Bowl Sunday, so I know kickoff is at 4:30, so people might be leaving early, but people who don't care about Super Bowl, they're probably going to stay to the end. It's at Nate in the North Lobby. If you check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/Classic Video Game Championships, all one word, or cvgc.ca, there should be a link to our Facebook page. I don't know if our website's up to date by now, but there'll be information on how to register for the qualifiers, the different tournaments. The qualifiers are $20 an entry. There's an AM tournament and a PM tournament. Each lasts about 2.5 hours. At $20 guarantees you 2.5 hours of gameplay in the morning and $20 in the afternoon. There's $5 entries for some fighting tournaments, but again, first round you could be out. Yeah. Admission's free. So if you don't want to enter any tournaments, you just want to check us out, come on down. There's going to be vendors. There's going to be developers. There's going to be a lot of different local, you know, groups and stuff like that. Like just like we are, a lot of local groups. We're at Nate, so we're gonna have some Nate involvement there as well as some students showcasing some of their work, hopefully. But yeah, anything video game related, we're gonna have there. And if anybody's got any ideas on what they would like to see or anything like that, just hit us up on Facebook or on our website or email at info@cvgc.ca. I don't know. I think that's about it.
Awesome.
All right. Well,
aside from the Classic Video Game Championship, what are some other upcoming events that our listeners and viewers can head out to, Dan? Tell us what's on our lovely calendar.
Well, I will tell you what is happening perhaps just next week for the Nerdcast. So the Nerdcast, we are going to have Shane Turge on.
Yay!
Yeah, he has been on our video. We've done an interview with him before, and Chelsea was actually there that day with us when we interviewed him about
being the PA.
Yeah, so
holding the piece of white paper to do the white balance. Go me.
So, anyways, he's gonna come on and talk about the
Edmonton Collector-Con.
Yeah, that's right, and that will be happening at the end of the month. So it's gonna be exciting about that. So that is that. And then we have obviously the Classic Video Game Championships is next weekend on February 7th.
This weekend
Edmonton,
coming up.
yeah,
Yes.
this weekend.
Yes.
And then we have Edmonton CollectorCon that is happening on February 28th that you guys can go and check out. And then moving on into March, we have the Pop Culture Fair. And in April, I just like to mention it every single week because we like them so much, and that would be GOBFest. That is the local board gaming festival. That is
Games
happening.
of boarding. Games of boarding.
Yes. So yeah, games of boards or something like that.
Something like that.
Games on Boards Fest. So go check that out. Their registration is open, so go and register for your game. That is it.
And now, where can everybody find us on the interwebs and in the ether, Dan?
Oh, you can find us on northernnerdnetwork.com, YouTube/Northern Nerd Network, Facebook at facebook.com/northernnerd, Twitter at northern_network, and that is it. Also, I want to say a special thanks to Kelly from the Edmonton Nerd List because he does feed us a lot of these events that are happening, and he has been just absolutely tremendous on that. So, a special thank you to Kelly for that.
And thank you so much to Andrew from the Classic Video Game Championship for coming out and joining us this evening and gushing with us over video games and how awesome they are. We loved having you and chatting with
That was
you.
fantastic.
So thanks.
Thank you very much.
And that is it. That is all. I want to thank everybody out there for watching this or listening this edition of the Nerdcast, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye!
Bye.